That is the Bexar County Courthouse. That is the largest and longest continuous running courthouse in the state of Texas. Been there since 1896. Made of a block granite and red sandstone. Then over here on my right-hand side, this is the International Center. That used to be San Antonio's main library from 1968 to 1998. Today it has the trade offices of the United States, Mexico, and Canada in there, along with the Visitors Conventions Bureau. Water does go up underneath that building, and it's one of two marinas where we actually park our boats. I call it the bumper boat zone. The pillars are so close you're bouncing around in there. Here on my left, that's just a retirement home for senior citizens. There you go. Now, I'm going to honk my horn. Don't want to startle those in front of me, but this green light in front of us is not a traffic light. That horn's a weak. This light's actually telling us that the floodgate's open here. We use a series of floodgates to regulate the flooding downtown. This is floodgate 4. It comes out of the water like a drawbridge. If you look on each side of the boat, you'll see the scrapings on the wall there. It comes up and regulates the height of the river course. Now, the natural flow of the river comes out of the horseshoe here, out of this floodgate, and it actually travels back off to my left-hand side. Now, we don't go left with folks on the boat. 3 bridges down at floodgate 5, there's a red and green light down there. That is a 10-foot waterfall trail. So I don't think you want to go that way. If we did go that direction, though, and we were able to survive the waterfall, we could travel 138 miles along the San Antonio River, dump us into the Guadalupe River, then another 10 miles out to the Gulf of Mexico, and head out to Cancun from there. I think that sounds like a great plan. I'm not sure it's a good plan, but it sounds like a great plan. It's just that waterfall. Well, the waterfall, once we survived it, then we have another little bit of a problem. We only have a 9.9 horsepower engine on here and runs off propane. So that could be a little bit more of a problem in itself. Now, this section of the river, this is known as the flood channel. I got to be honest with you. This is about 30 feet deep. See this rope over here on my left-hand side on the wall? Well, that rope is there because if anything happens to us, go over there, grab one hand there, go the other hand, reach in your pocket, grab a $20 bill, next boat will pick you up. All right, so there you go. This section is about 25, 30 feet deep. This used to be all land right through here. From the floodgate we just came out of to the next one we go into. Back in 1928, they decided to come out here and dig all the dirt out of this area and straighten the river. They were having a lot of flooding issues, and they thought that after they dug this out, they could actually take the dirt from here, fill in the horseshoe part that we just came out of. They actually wanted to take all that dirt, fill it in, and make it into a sewer culvert. And once they had finished that, they were going to pave over it. Well, 2 ladies didn't like this idea whatsoever, so they stopped them from doing it. Their names were Emily Edwards and Rita Maverick Green. They co-founded the Conservation Society in 1924. So we really have them to thank for preserving the natural flow of the river for us to actually enjoy today. The river itself begins about 4 miles directly in front of us. Starts out at the University of the Incarnate Word. There's a spring that comes up from an underground lake. The lake is known as Edwards Aquifer. It's where we get our drinking water from today. Over here on my right-hand side is the Jury Plaza. I'd like to say thank you to them as we come by here. They donated 611 feet of sidewalk to the city of San Antonio. That gives us a continuous walk all the way around the river walk, not river level, so we do appreciate that. Then over on my left-hand side, folks, is the main plaza. Back in 1731, that was the first municipality of Texas. Today it's a public park. People enjoy getting their lunches up here and enjoy music during the week. But if you look all the way back behind the main plaza, that twin bell tower back there on the left, that is the oldest cathedral in the United States, San Fernando Cathedral. And it is gorgeous on the inside. If you have a chance during the day to go up there and take a peek inside there, I think you'd enjoy it. It is beautiful. In fact, right at the entranceway, you'll find Davy Crockett, Bowie, and Travis's remains actually entombed right there at the entrance. That's a pretty neat part of history, and sort of creepy all at the same time. Now, the Riverwalk itself does travel about another 2.5 miles up in front of us. It goes up to what we call the Pearl Brewery. It turns around there and comes back. Our taxi boats and special charter boats go up in that direction. There's a lock and dam system there that raises the boats 9 feet in elevation like an elevator. It's really cool. It opened up about 3.5 years ago, known as our museum reach. Really neat area. Now that tree right there in front of us, that is the oldest cypress tree in San Antonio. Nearly 400 years old, 9 stories tall. Big old tree. Now we're going to go back in the main flow of the river here, folks, right back through floodgate 3. Now this floodgate, instead of coming up out of the water, it drops straight down right over your head like a pocket door. It is chain driven, and it takes 15 minutes to seal off the river and the sidewalk. That allows the water to bypass downtown completely. Wasn't like that in 1921. We had a devastating flood that caused all the problems around here. 2/3 of businesses went underwater, nearly 100 people lost their lives. All sorts of bridges and streets were destroyed because of that flood. Not only that, but it did something really peculiar. 2 trees were pushed through a wall. Look right here on my right. They're coming out of the wall right there. The trunks of the trees are inside the restaurant. They say that there was a crack in the wall and the floodwaters were so powerful that it pushed them right on through and they continued to grow. Give you an idea how high the river rose in that flood of 21. Look over on my left on the Jury Inn and Suites. Right in between their first set of windows is where the water actually rose up to, about 10 feet above street level. They say the chandeliers in that street level room are floating in the water. In fact, that was our electric company, City Public Service Company, just moved in their brand new building. They generated power in the basement down here, and they had that flood happen. So by straightening up the river, putting in the floodgates, very seldom will you ever see water go over the sidewalks now. Hello. Now, coming up beside this boat here, this is just another one of our tour locations. We have 3 locations for tours, all the same tour, just different places to get on. But when we get up beside the boat, take a look to my right and you'll see the Aztec Theater. It has a Mayan theme to it. It's the only Mayan themed theater of its type left in the state of Texas today. It opened back in 1926 as San Antonio's first black and white silent movie theater. They had first run movies all the way up through 1980. Then they renovated the facility, started having live shows in there. Now today they're trying to lease it out for different venues. Anyone remember a famous Latin singer by the name of Selena from Corpus Christi? This is her bridge right here. We call this Selena's Bridge. She stood there in 1995 after a concert here in the Alamo City. They made a movie after her. Jennifer Lopez starred as Selena in that movie, and they filmed her here as well. On my right is the Macara Hotel and Spa. On that site, 1901 to 1923, sat the L. Frank Saddle Company. They manufactured all the saddles for U.S. Armies and their allies in World War I. Then this elegant-looking hotel here on my left, that's the Lamont Sion Hotel. That opened back in 1853 as St. Mary's School for the Boys. Later on, they put in a law school, part of their college. Out through the building, in the 1960s, they built a huge campus on the west side of San Antonio. Hotel took that over 1970. Go in the main lobby, and there's still see construction of that 1853 boys school. This being a real river, folks, we do have a lot of fish. We have bass, perch, sunfish, tilapia, just name a few. No fishing allowed downtown. Not only will you find fish, but you can see the bottom. Every now and then you'll see watches, cell phones, cameras, forks, knives, chairs, tables. All sorts of things fall in the water. Even people fall in the water around here. Number one cause for that, those are 60-ounce margaritas. See this sidewalk here on my left, how it makes a left-hand turn? This past summer we had something really crazy take place. It was very crowded. During the summertime, it's really crowded, and there were 2 12-year-old girls walking along here. And she was texting, that sidewalk turned left, she kept walking, she walked straight in the water right in front of one of our boats. Yeah, the boat driver actually helped her out. I mean, he freaked out at first, but then she pops up, she's standing waist deep, and holding her hand over her head saying, at least I saved my phone. That was a first. Now when we come out from underneath this bridge, do me a favor, take a look to my left and look up high. There's an optical illusion. It appears as if though there's a wall just standing there all by itself. It's really neat. My left, look up high. There you go. Isn't that cool? That is the Knicks Professional Building, opened in 1930 as San Antonio's first full-service hospital. The hospital still today goes all the way to the top floor. Got all sorts of clinics in there, ambulance service, parking garage. A lady by the name of Carol Burnett was born there in 1933.
Oh,
she is a comedian. She was here last year performing.
I like her.
All sorts of shops and different restaurants along here. Harley Davidson store, all sorts of things. Up in front of us is the Hyatt Regency Hotel. And the Alamo sits 1 block on the other side of it. How many of y'all been to the Alamo already? No? Some of you? Okay. Well, prior to them building the Hyatt Regency and opening in 1981, they did something known as shadow testing. They wanted to make sure that the building wouldn't cast any shadow on the Alamo from the setting sun. So they limited the height to only 16 stories. The easiest way to go to the Alamo is to go right through their main atrium here on the left. Well, all the way to the other side, there's a sidewalk that'll take you there. Now, they have a beautiful atrium, but you haven't been inside there. They made it look like the river goes right through the middle of it. Then off to my front right, over the street bridge there, you'll see the Casino Club building. Now that opened back in 1927 as a private club for the German business community. It's no longer a casino club. The first 2 floors today are restaurants and shops, and the 4 floors above that, those are apartments. Had a well-known actor living there one time. Tommy Lee Jones used to live here. In fact, he owned the entire top floor to himself. And he still lives here in San Antonio, not too far from downtown. Also had an author, Alex Haley, if you recall, he authored the book Roots. He lived here as well. In this section of the river, we simply call it River Square. This is where you find most of the restaurants with indoor and outdoor seating. And people will ask me, well, what kind of restaurants are downtown? I say, well, we have Mexican, we have Italian, we have Mexican, we have American, we have Mexican. We've got a few Mexican restaurants around here. We do offer dinner boat rides. You can eat dinner on a boat, get a 3-course meal. You can go to any restaurant around here, talk to them about it. They'll hook you up about that. Or if you prefer, you can go to our website and check it out. In fact, you can find our website on your ticket stubs. Some of your ticket stubs even have coupons on the back side, so you may want to check those out and see if they're useful for you. Also like to bring your attention to our Facebook and Twitter emblems. Love for you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Get on there, give a shout out. I'd love to say hi to you. Now coming up here on my right hand side, folks, just before the bridge is a circular balcony here on the Clifford building. Then you'll see Robert Hugman, the architect's name written on there. At the completion of the Riverwalk in 1941, he placed his office right there at river level. He wanted to make a statement to the business community, let them know that the river was safe from flooding, so he thought he'd be the first one out here just to entice them. But it didn't take long to get them out here. In fact, the one here on my right, Casa Rio Restaurant, they were the first ones out here on the Riverwalk. They opened in 1946. In fact, all these boat rides, dinner boats, outdoor seating, everything originated out of their restaurant. When they began the boat rides in 1951, they were the non-lit boats at that time, something I wish they still were. And believe it or not, Casa Rio Restaurant is the first Mexican restaurant my wife and I had ever eaten at. Isn't that sweet? We got married back in 1985. Moved here the day after we got married from the Chicago area. Prior to that, the only Mexican food we ever ate was Taco Bell. We had no Mexican restaurants when we grew up. In fact, when we sat down here to eat and get we had absolutely no idea what to do with these things. Honestly. In fact, my wife, her words to me were, Randy, they just gave us a bunch of taco patties, no meat. What are we supposed to do with this? We had to watch people figure out how to eat these things. Finally, we see people take butter, spread on it, roll it up and eat it. That was a mistake for me. I'm telling you, 28 years later, about 30 pounds more, still eating it. They are good. Now here's where we started. We're not finished. As I mentioned, this section is what we call our man-made extension. This portion of the river was built back in the 1960s. They wanted to take the main river, join it up to the hemisphere where the Tower of the Americas was the center point of the 1968 World Fair. This has a concrete bottom, unlike the main river after the mud top. Then come up here on the left-hand side, this building with all the flags on the side, that's our Chamber of Commerce. That's a great resource for anybody that wants to relocate to San Antonio. Just Google their website. Now check this palm tree out over here on the right-hand side. Look how it twists and turns to get out from underneath this cypress tree to get sunlight. I think that's the neatest palm tree I've ever seen. Now, I've been driving boats over a year now, and I just noticed that tree about 3 months ago. Isn't that crazy? Now, because this is man-made and we do have a lot of fish in the water, we aerate the water to keep all the fish alive. The way we do that is with the beautiful waterfall that's going to be coming up here on my right-hand side. Just like a fish tank filtering system, all these bubbles create an atmosphere for the fish to live in. A lot of waterfalls along the Riverwalk. This is the only one that was really built for a specific purpose at the time. It makes a beautiful backdrop picture also. Then directly in front of us over the bridge there, you'll see the Marriott Hotel. Now, Marriott Hotel was built back in 1985, and before they built it, there was another hotel sitting there in its spot, known as the Fairmont. The Fairmont Hotel was an old building built in 1906, made out of brick. They didn't want to tear it down when they built the Marriott, so they moved it. And it's 3 stories tall, weighing over 1,600 tons. That's over 3 million pounds of a building. They sat it on a bunch of axles and tires. In fact, the tires are about the size of a jet airplane, filled them up with air. Ended up moving the building 6 blocks. Took them 6 days to move it. It's sitting over at South Alamo on Nueva Street today as a great hotel. I I had just moved here March of '85, came down here and watched it one of those days. It was fascinating. It took 3 semi-trucks to pull this thing down. You couldn't even tell it was moving unless you looked at the tires. They said they clocked it at like 0.04 miles an hour. I'm not even sure how you clock anything that's Now off to my front right, up over Market Street Bridge here, you'll see the Tower of the Americas. Big round building there on top of the pedestal. Tower of the Americas was built for the 1968 fair they had here. It stands 622 feet all the way up to the rooftop, and it is the second tallest freestanding tower in the United States. You want to know where the first one might be?
Vegas.
Where?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is correct. Hey, that's got to be about the first. Most people think of Seattle. That's the most popular one. Seattle's actually the
But
third
I've been to
tallest.
Vegas and I
There
haven't
you
been
go.
to Seattle. So.
There you go. Well, we have exterior glass elevators take you all the way up to the top. Once you get up there, there's a great restaurant up there. That restaurant revolves around in a circle. Takes about an hour to make a complete rotation. It gives you a beautiful panoramic view of the city while you're eating. Right above the restaurant, there's an observatory deck you can go to as well if you'd like. Now this is the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center we're coming into. Henry B. Gonzalez was the first Hispanic American that was elected to the House of Representatives. He served as San Antonio's congressman for a really long time, from 1961 to 1998. The convention center was built for the 1968 fair, where they had all the exhibits. And one of the original buildings over here on my left-hand side has a beautiful mural on the side of it. This mural over here on my left, that was done by an artist by the name of Juan O'Gorman. And he put this together with 400,000 1-inch by 1-inch tiles, little bitty tiles, placed them on 2-foot placards. It's entitled The Confluence of Civilizations, which means the coming together of nations. Each tile is its own original color, except for the blue. Those are glazed, and they shipped the other tiles in from 13 different countries. It took them about a year to put this whole thing together. Isn't that neat? A couple donated that to San Antonio, hung up there for the 68 fair. Now we're going to go back inside the lagoon here. We'll turn around. We'll come right back up the side of here in a moment. If anyone likes to go to the Tower of Americas, one of the easiest way to get there is walking right up in front of us, go all the way through the convention center. When you get on the other side, you'll be in the Hemisphere Park. Make the left, and it's only a block. It's really easy to get to through the park there. The convention center here was actually renovated about 6 years ago. They added on 440,000 square feet to this thing, bringing it up over 1 million square feet. They're getting ready to add on some more. They already say it's one of the most state-of-the-art convention centers in the U.S. 2 weekends ago, we had America's Got Talent here. They were performing right here in front of us. We were sitting here watching. I had a couple on my boat. They had a 6-year-old little girl, an Oriental girl, and she was a violinist. Amazing child. Now we're going to put this boat right in between these rocks here, folks. Get pretty close to these rocks at times. The rails keep us from actually hitting them. Please watch your hands and your arms. May get a little bit of a bump here on my right. Not all the excitement you're going to get out of that right there. Those of you on my right-hand side, reach up and feel how soft those leaves are above your head. My apologies to the left side. They can't feel how soft that poison ivy is. It's not soft either.
No, not at all.
What's he talking about being soft? This theater over here on my right, that the Lila Cockrell Theater, that was actually named after a lady who was San Antonio's first female mayor. She served 3 terms, 2 in the 1980s, 1 in the 90s. Next month she celebrates her 91st birthday. Still active. Heard her on the radio about 3 months ago doing advertisement with my current mayor. Then right next to the theater, that Grand Hyatt Hotel there with the glass rooms up on top, that's the newest one out here on the Riverwalk, opened about 4 years ago. What makes it so special are those top 10 floors in glass up there. Those are not hotel rooms, those are actually condominiums. So if you want to live up there, they do have some 1-bedrooms going up there. At about 700 square foot, you get yours for $350,000.
I'd take
There
it.
you go.
There you go, hon.
Get a
That's what
beautiful
you're
view
looking
of the
for.
city.
Exactly. We want something contemporary. Something that when you're not here, you could rent it out. Yeah, maybe live there. I mean, that's exactly what we had talked about. Hiding. That's the beautiful view. Yeah.
Now look at this over on my left. See these things coming out of the ground? Those are actually part of the root systems of these cypress trees. I think they're so neat. They're called the knees, like your kneecap. They pop up out of the ground because cypress trees absorb so much water. They aerate their root system like that. At least that's the theory. Scientifically, they really have absolutely no idea why the trees do that. The scientists really, they've studied, they have no clue. The closest thing they can figure out as to why they do it. Now we're going to go back into the River Center Mall here. This is another one of our tour locations. Again, they're all the same tour, just different places to get on. This is really a nice location for tours. Don't tell the people sitting in the boat though that there's one problem with this area. The pigeons will sit right above their heads. If they haven't been dumped on yet, they might. Needless to say, we keep a lot of paper towel out here. River Center Mall here opened back in 1988 for us. It brought us about 1 million square feet of shopping. Definitely not one of our larger malls in the city, but it is a pretty one. There's a band that plays live here 7 days a week, weather permitting. The name of the band is Andean Fusion. They play wood instruments. They're from South America. They play over here on my left up on the steps. Looks like they just have a CD going right at the moment. This is actually one of my favorite spots in the Riverwalk right here. I love coming here. Inside the mall here, we do have the largest IMAX theater in the state of Texas. Thing's huge. It's about 7 stories tall. Also have a regular AMC theater inside the mall there. And on the weekends, we have a comedy club in there as well if you enjoy comedy. Just like any other mall, it has all the specialty stores. It has hat stores, flag stores, sports stores. Even if you like the color purple, there's a store there just for you. Father Damien Massenet held the first mass service on the river June 13, 1691, and it just so happened to be on his feast day, so they named the river after him. It wasn't long the city followed suit. 12th century monk from Portugal, known as the man for lost children, lost articles. Portugal even gave the statue to San Antonio as a gift. Then off to my front right over the wall there, you'll see the steeple to the St. Joseph Catholic Church. That has a Gothic architectural style to it. Germans built that back in 1868. In fact, I'm told that at the end of each month they have an all-nudes German choir that still sings in there. A lot of folks don't realize it, but the street signs of San Antonio back in the 1800s were not only in English, but they were in German and Spanish as well. And then the building you see on each side of the church, that is the River Center Mall. They built right around it. And folks, unfortunately, this is bringing our tour to an end. I'll be coming up here, stopping the boat right back where we started. If y'all would just do me a favor, remain seated till I get the boat stopped and tied down. Once it's tied down, I'll let you know when it is safe to stand up and exit the boat. In the meantime, please look around. Make sure you gather all your personal belongings. Get your purses, backpacks, cameras, phones. Make sure